Good morning, students. I am Rakesh Kumar, science teacher. I am going to teach a new chapter. In previous classes, we have learned force and pressure and friction, two chapters in physics. In all together, you have to read 10 chapters in science, 4 from physics, 3 from biology, and 3 from chemistry. Sangeeta Das ma'am have taught microorganism from biology, and at present she is teaching combustion from chemistry, while Kiran Raj ma'am taking chemistry. I have taught 2 chapters of physics. Say force and pressure first, and second one is friction. Today I am going to taught a chapter from biology. So be concentrate on this chapter. As I told you in the beginning that after completion of friction I take one chapter of physics, say electric current and its chemical effect, but due to some personal coordinations amongst the teacher, it is decided that 2 chapter of physics is completed, 2 chapter of chemistry is near about completed, and biology only 1 chapter. So today I am going to teach you 1 chapter of biology. Okay, but one thing note, most of the student not sending their response. Very few students are sending their assignments. So please send your assignment in the proper way. Why? Because due to the lockdown, it is not clear that how long it takes. So your periodic exams may be not possible. So you send your assignment because your periodic marking or say periodic exam possibly not to be held. So we give the marks of periodic according to your performance, means according to the assignment sent by you. So all students try to send the assignment assuming that it is the periodic exam. All the students give his or her response after the class. It is necessary, and try to send the assignments. Okay, now I am going to start a new chapter from biology, which is known as crop production and its management. All of you eat vegetable, rice, wheat, say roti, bread. You never think that where these are comes. Is it possible that we make the vegetables, say pumpkin or grains, rice, wheat, grams, soya bean, or so many grains you use in your home, they are coming from the factories? No, these materials are not coming from the factories. These are grown by us in our fields. So, today's topic is crop production. Now, as you know, all organisms need food for their growth and sustenance. You, I, and all living beings, your family members, eat the food for their growth. If we do not eat the food in proper manner, then our growth is affected. So, we require the food for their growth. These foods are come from the agricultural practices. Now, among us means among the all living beings, there are two types of living beings. First one is autotrophs. Autotrophs are such type of living beings which prepare their own food through photosynthesis, hence they are known as autotrophs. This is the definition of autotrophs. Mainly, plants are the autotrophs. We, I, you, your family member are not the autotrophs. They do not prepare their food by itself. Someone say, my mom prepare the food and you eat. No, it is not true. The food is prepared by the plants. They prepare the food, they grow in the soil, prepare the food. We receive such foods or from the market, and after that we consume them after some processing. So the food you are eating come from the plants, and these foods are prepared by the autotrophs. So autotrophs are the plant prepare their own food through photosynthesis, hence they are known as autotrophs. Now, next one is heterotrophs, organisms which depend upon plants and its products for their food are known as heterotrophs. I, you, all are heterotrophs because we depend on the plant for the food. Imagine you eat rice. Rice comes from the paddy. You eat roti, chapati, bread. These all materials are made from the flour which is obtained from the wheat. So, we are not the autotroph. We do not prepare their food by itself. We depends upon the plants, so we are the heterotrophs. Similarly, cow, buffalo are the animals from which you get the milk, or chicken, mutton. They are also the heterotrophs. Okay? Now, crop. We get the food from the crops. You have some plant in your balcony. They are the flower plants. But whenever we grow the plant of same kind in one place on a large scale, then such type of plant is known as crop. When plants of same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. So this is the definition of crop. Crop is the group of plant which are cultivated at the same time, same place on a large scale. For example, crop of rice, say paddy, we get the rice from paddy. Crop of wheat, there are so many examples. Crop of wheat means that all the plant grown in the field are that of wheat. Crop of wheat means we are growing the plant of wheat on a large scale on a particular field. Similarly, we grow the crop of paddy means so many plants of paddy are grown in a field on a large scale. Okay, now see this picture. This is the picture of a crop. Here in this picture you see that so many plants. We cannot count the number of these plants. There are here so many plants of one variety are grown. So this is an example of a crop. Okay. Now type of crops. There are so many crops. Crops are mainly of two types. One is kharif crops. The crop which are sown in the rainy season are called kharif crop. In examination, it may be asked, what do you mean by kharif crop? What do you mean by rabi crop? So, the crop which are sown in rainy season are kharif crop. The rainy season in India is from June to September. Kharif crop are grown in rainy season. In India, the timing is from June to September. For example, paddy. From paddy we get the rice. Maize is a kharif crop. Similarly, soybean, you eat the soybean bali. So, for example, Nutrilla or so many brands are available, and you also get the oil from soybean. Similarly, groundnut, cotton, etc. are the kharif crops. Okay. Now, I am repeating again. Paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, cotton, etc. Means so many crops are here, but I am going to give some main examples of kharif crop. These crops are grown in rainy season. Paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, cotton are the some examples of the kharif crops. Next one is rabi crop. The crop grown in winter season are rabi crops. Their time period is generally from October to March. In winter season, we grow some crops which are known as rabi crops. For example, wheat. From wheat, you get the flour and make the roti, chapati, bread, etc. Suji, maida, all are the products of wheat. They are obtained from the wheat. Next one is gram. Pea. You enjoy the use of pea. Mustard is a rabi crop from which we get the oil. You always use mustard oil. You have seen mustard oil in your kitchen. And linseed. Linseed is a crop from which we get the oil. I am repeating again. Crop grown in winter season are known as rabi crops. Rabi crops are grown from October to March. Wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseeds are the example of Rabi crops. Now, next, basic practices of production. Now, imagine how we can get these crops or these materials, say wheat, gram, linseed, mustard. These are obtained from some processes which is known as agriculture practices or cultivation. Cultivation is the process or name you can say activity. Cultivation of crops involves several activities. These activities are referred as agricultural practices. In agricultural practices, we know about the different processes through which we are able to grow some crop. These activities are preparation of soil. For growing the crop, we have to at first prepare the soil. After that, we have to sow the seed. After that, we have to add some manure and fertilizer. Irrigation is necessary for our crop, say plant. You irrigate your plants which are placed in your balcony time to time for their growth. Similarly, you also have to protect these plants from the weeds, and after that you have to do the harvesting, means removing the food grain from the crop or the plant. After that, we have to store that food grain in the proper manner. So, for the agricultural practices, we have to go through these 7 processes. Okay? Now, I am going to discuss one by one in brief. First, preparation of soil. For the growing of plant, soil must be loose. If soil is tight, then our plant doesn't grow in the proper manner. So, we must have to prepare a soil before growing any plant or growing our crops. The preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. As I told, if we want to grow some crop, then it is the first step that we have to prepare the soil. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. Before growing any plants, we must have to turn the soil, upper soil in lower position and lower soil in upper position, due to which the soil became loosened. This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. If we loosen the soil or turn the soil, then such a soft soil allow the roots of plants to penetrate deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the root to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. If our soil is not so loose, it is tight, then the roots of our plant do not penetrate into the deep into the soil and they do not breathe. The loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworm and microbes present in the soil. As in the previous class, Sangeeta Das ma'am have taught you that microorganisms are our friend. They make the soil soft, due to which the our plant breathe water enter into the soil, and our plant receive the nutrients with the help of soil. So loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworm as well as microbes present in the soil. These microbes are our friend. It may happen that some microbes are food for us, but most of the microorganisms are our friend. They help the farmer. These organisms are friend of the farmer since they further turn and lose the soil and add humus to it. These organisms, microorganisms, again make the soil softer. Once when we make the soil softer for growing the seeds or growing the plants, then these microbes again make the soil softer and add humus to the soil, due to which our plants are able to get particular nutrients. Now next one is sowing. But in preparing the soil, we have to take so many precautions, out of which one is tilling or plowing. The process of loosening and turning the soil is called tilling or plowing. I am repeating again. The process of loosening and turning the soil is called tilling or plowing. This is done by using a plow. We have to, as you know, we grow the crop in a large area. It is not possible that we loosen the soil manually with the help of khurpi, which is used by you or us in our balconies. So whenever we have to do the agriculture practice on a large scale, then we have to use some another method. From ancient time, loosening of soil is done with the help of a plow. See the figure. In this figure, there is a farmer. He is plowing the field with the help of a plow, which is pulled by the cattle. Okay, so this is our basic method from which we plow the field or loosening the soil. But nowadays there is a labor crisis or cattle crisis, so we must have to use some another method. So agricultural implements for tilling: plow, which I have discussed in this figure. Plow, this is the figure of plow. From the old age, we use the wooden plow, but you know, in fulfilling the demand of our increasing population, we are cutting the trees, so there is shortage of wood. So nowadays we use iron plow. This is a wooden plow and this is iron plow. These both plows are pulled by the kettles. Now, as you know, we have to fulfill the demand of increasing population, so we have to do the agricultural practices on a large scale. So for this we must have to search some method by which we are able to plow a large field in very short time. So in order to plow the large field in a short time, or by the application of less effort, we must have to apply some technique, some method by which it is possible by the application of small effort. So next implement is hoe. It is a simple tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. Now, here a new term comes, weeds. Weeds are the plants which are grown in our field which are unwanted. Suppose we are growing wheat and in the field there are so many plants which are not the plant of wheat. They consume our fertilizer, consume the nutrients available for such plants, means say wheat. So it is our duty to remove such type of plant before the growing. If we are not able to remove the such plants, means which are weeds, before the growing, then they consume the nutrients which is for our plants. So we use a hoe. With the use of hoe, we are able to not only loosening the soil, means not only plowing the field. Together with this, with the help of this hoe, we are able to plow the field as well as remove the weeds. So hoe is a modified version of plow. Hoe, what is hoe? The hoe is a modified version of plow with the help of which we not only plow the field, together with this we are able to remove the weeds from our field. Now next one is cultivator. Cultivator is a plow. Cultivator is also a plow which is driven by the tractor. With the help of tractor, we are able to plow a large area within some short interval of time. So nowadays we are using cultivators. These are driven by the tractors. Nowadays plowing is done by tractor driven cultivator. The use of cultivator saves labor and time. Suppose you have to plow a field of 1 hectare. Then if you are plowing the field with the help of modern plow, plow of olden days, say wooden plow or iron plow, or with the help of hoe, then it takes 3 or 4 days, mainly 4 days. I am repeating again. If you have to plow 1 hectare of field, then it takes 4 days to plow it with the help of hoe or simple wooden plow or iron plow. But if you are using a cultivator, then you can plow the 3 hectare field in a day. I am repeating again. With the help of plow or cultivator, you can plow 1 hectare field in 4 days, while if you are using cultivator, which is driven by tractor, you are able to plow the 3 hectare of field in a day. So I think 4 into 3, 12. So the efficiency of this cultivator is 12 times than the ordinary plow or hoe. So nowadays we are using the cultivator. This is the figure of a cultivator. In this is a tractor which is used to drive in the cultivator. In this instrument, there are so many plow are fixed at one place, and this set of plow is driven by the tractor. So with the help of these, we are able to plow more and more field. So in this way, it saves our time as well as labor. So cultivator is a very important tool for plowing the field. Now next, sowing. After plowing the field, means loosening the soil, we have to make plane it, which is done by some instruments. After plowing the field, we have to sow the seed, spread the seed in the field, which became a plant after some time. But it is important that we have to sow the healthy seed. If we are sowing the healthy seed or seed of good quality, then our plants are healthy. So sowing is the most important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality seed are selected. If we have to sow some crop or we want to grow some crop, then we must have to select the seeds of good quality. Why? Because good quality seeds are clear and healthy seeds of good variety. Farmers prefer to use seeds which give a high yield. Now here a new term comes, yield. If you are using ordinary seed, then it provide of low yield, while another farmer is using good quality of seed, then he get good yields. Yield means food grain obtained from a particular field. Say you are sowing a field wheat in 1 hectare land, and another person is also sowing the wheat in next 1 hectare field. If you are sowing the normal seed, say not the good quality of seed, then you get less yield, while the another farmer which have sown good quality of seeds, he get more yields. So if we have to do the agriculture, then we must have to choose a good quality of seed. Why? Because good quality of seed provide us good yield. I am going to make it clear again. See, one farmer is sowing wheat in 1 hectare field and he get the 20 tons of wheat. It is not the actual figure, this is for example. And another farmer is sowing the wheat in another 1 hectare field, but he uses the good quality of seed, then he must get the wheat more than 20 ton. This is the meaning of yield. Now, as you have to sow the seeds, so it is not possible manually on a large scale. If our agriculture is on a large scale, then we must have to use some tools for sowing the seed, like the preparation of soil, as we have discussed that for the plowing we have to use plow, hoe or cultivator. Similarly, there are so many tools with the help of which we sow the seed. Now, first one is traditional tools. The tool used traditionally for sowing seed is shaped like funnel. The seeds are filled in the funnel, passed down through 2 or 3 pipes having sharp ends. These ends pierce into the soil and place the seed there. See the figure. In a traditional plow, we make a hole and join a pipe. At the top of the pipe, a funnel is fitted. A farmer, after plowing the field and leveling the ground, again plow the field with the help of this tool and drop the seeds with the help of this funnel, which settled into the ground. This is the traditional method. Now, as you know, nowadays we are doing the agricultural practices on a large scale. So, it is not possible for a person to sow some seed with the help of this manual seed drill. So, we must have to use some techniques, and in order to fulfill such requirement, seed drills are developed. See, this is the seed drill which is driven by a tractor. Nowadays, the seed drills is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This tool sows the seed uniformly at proper distances and depth. It also ensures that seeds get covered with the soil. If we are using the seed drill, then this have some advantages. Now, if you are using the seed drill, then first advantage is that our seeds are placed uniformly at proper distances and in proper depth. Next advantage is it also use of seed drill also ensure that the seeds get covered with the soil. Now, after sowing the seed, some more things are necessary. Adding manures and fertilizer. Now, the substance which are added to the soil in form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manures and fertilizers. As you know, if we are growing a particular crop from a field, then such crop needs some nutrients for their growth, and these nutrients are obtained from the soil. But after some time, there is a deficiency of a particular nutrients in the soil, due to which our soil is not capable to provide the essential nutrients to the plants. So, we have to add essential nutrients required for the plants from the outside. So, adding the essential nutrients from the outside is known as manuring the field or providing the fertilizer. It is necessary that we must have to add manure or fertilizers in our soil. Soil supplies mineral nutrient to the crop. These nutrients are essential for the growth of plants. In certain areas, if in the same farmer grow crop fields, the field is never uncultivated or fallow. Because of this continuous growing of crop makes the soil poorer in certain nutrients. If you are growing a particular crop in a particular field, then there may be deficiency of some particular nutrients, due to which our soil is poor. It is not so rich to provide the nutrients. So, we must have to add extra nutrients from the outside to our fields. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the field and replenish the soil with nutrients. By adding the manure or fertilizer, we fulfill the requirement of nutrients which is being used by our plants. So, manuring and fertilizing, providing the fertilizer is the process of fulfill the requirement of our soil. Soil supplies mineral nutrients to the crop. These nutrients are essential for the growth of plant. So, we have to supply the additional nutrients. The process of providing the essential nutrients to the soil is known as manuring. Improper or insufficient manuring result in weak plant. If we cannot do the manuring of our field in a proper way, then our plant becomes weakened. Now, as I have discussed, manure and fertilizer So there is difference between the manure and fertilizer. Sometimes a question is asked that write the difference between the manure and fertilizers. So manure. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal wastes. It can be prepared in the field. It provides a lot of humus to the soil. It is relatively less rich in the plant nutrients. Manure provide the nutrients to the plant. We make the manure in our field by itself with the help of dead and decayed plants, animal waste, say cow dung. But manure are less rich in comparison of fertilizer. But benefit of manuring is that manure provide the lot of humus to the soil. Yet it supplies less nutrient to the soil, but it maintains the proportion of humus in the soil in a proper way. So we prefer the use of manure instead of use of fertilizer. Fertilizer is an inorganic salt. They are prepared in factories. It does not provide any humus to the soil. Fertilizer are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Here three terms comes: nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. As you know, nitrogen is essential for the growth of plant. Phosphorus and potassium are used for providing the strength to the plant and save our plant from the harmful insects. There are some examples of fertilizer: urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash and NPK. NPK is one combination of chemical fertilizer which contain nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Nitrogen is for growth, phosphorus is for providing the strength and potassium is for the protection of our plant. Okay. We have to avoid the use of fertilizer. We have to increase the use of manure. Why? Because manures are homemade. They are less expensive. Yet they are relatively less rich than the fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, but they provide a lot of humus to the plant. So we have to use or we have to promote the use of manure. Okay. Now see the figure of fertilizing. Here the man is fertilizing the field. This man takes some fertilizer in a pot and spreading them with the help of hand. So this is the method of fertilizing. Most of the student from you doesn't belong from the rural side. So see, in this way a person can spread the fertilizer in his field. Now this topic means this chapter is divided. I have divided this chapter in two parts. Our today's work is near about complete. In next day, means next class, I will discuss the rest part of this topic. But before this, I am giving some question. You have to write these or search the solution of such questions. Give your response with the help of equation and send the solution of the question. I am repeating again. You must give your response and send the solution of the question which I am going to give you. In next class, we will discuss the rest part of this chapter as well as the question of DAV book. Okay, in next class we discuss the rest part of this chapter and the questions of DAV book. After that, all student, means after the next class, within 2 or 3 days, all students have to send their homework on my personal WhatsApp number. I think all of you have my personal WhatsApp number. If not have, then I am giving again. Write 7277162403. I am repeating again. My WhatsApp number is 7277162403. If you send your homework on my WhatsApp number, then must write your name, give the response of the class, that is class is satisfactory or not. If any student have any problem regarding the class or regarding any material, say the photocopy of book or video of this material, then you can call me on my WhatsApp number or write a message to my WhatsApp number. Okay, now I am going to discuss the questions. Some questions, there are some questions, no lengthy. Match the item given in the column A with the column B. Plowing, irrigation, weeding, harvesting, tilling, storage of grain. You have to match this, but I think some questions are from the next part of the teaching, means rest part of the book. So you can do it or cannot do it. Next, true false. Here some statements are given, out of which some are true and some are false. So if possible, then give the reply of these questions. But as I have not completed the chapter, so it is not necessary that each student is able to give the reply of each questions. If it is not possible, then left it. Don't mind. But remember, after the completion of the class, means after the second class, you must have to write the solution of the questions, note it in a fair copy and send me on my WhatsApp number. So many students ask that, sir, can we write this on the fair notebook? Yes, the things taught to you by me or any teacher, you must have to at first write all the things on your notebook. After that, you have to do the question answer. After that, if you have any problem, then ask me for the help. I am ready to help you every time. Okay, thank you. Today I am going to wind up my class. I think you have no any problem because today the half part of the chapter is completed. But if you have any problem regarding this class, then give your response or ask the question. But if you have no any problem, then don't ask the question, but give your response. That is, you are satisfied or not satisfied. If you are satisfied from this class, then give the response as okay sir, I am satisfied, or simply okay sir. If you have any problem, then write the question, write the problem on a page and send it on my personal WhatsApp number. Okay? Now I am going to wind up the class. Thank you. Enjoy the video. Revise the content taught by me and give your feedback. Okay? Thank you. Have a good day.